For the past 15 years, because I'm a disabled veteran, I would always get a letter from the Veterans Administration telling me to come in for my annual physical. And for the last 5 years, my VA doctor would look at me and say, "You have the most boring labs I have ever seen." Well, January of last year, I didn't get my letter. And when February rolled around and I still hadn't gotten my letter, I decided that my VA clinic was probably backlogged. And so rather than bother them, I asked my husband's doctor if he wouldn't mind doing my physical. He said sure and scheduled me for x-rays and labs. Well, I told him the VA had stopped doing x-rays years ago because I've never smoked and no one in my family has any lung issues. But he told me that he just always does a chest x-ray, and so I just said fine. It was a Saturday morning. It was overcast. I drove to the lab to have my tests done, and I wasn't worried because it was a routine physical. I mean, it's called routine, so I wasn't expecting anything. The following Monday morning, the phone rang, and he called me to say he wanted me to go to my local hospital to have a scan done. There was this shady something in my lungs. Didn't worry about it, went and got the test, was on the drive home when he called back. And he said, "I'd like you to go and get an abdominal scan. Seems you moved in the machine and maybe we saw something." Didn't worry about it, went and got the scan. And then he called and said, "I want you to come to my office right now." So I did. And he said, "You know, that abdominal scan showed us something, and I'd like you to see a specialist." So I said, "Okay." He said, "I want to send you to an oncologist." I went, "Okay." You would think because I'd been a medic, I would have connected the word oncologist with cancer. Didn't even dawn on me. So my adult daughter went with me, and we went to the very first oncologist he could find. And when we were sitting in the office, the doctor walked in, didn't even introduce himself, and said, "You have kidney cancer." And I went, "Are you sure? Maybe it's something else." And I started listing different things. I don't clean my CPAP machine, maybe it's dust, and just went through some, and he just stopped me. And he said, "You know what we call what you're doing? Rationalizing." And I said, "Well, of course I'm rationalizing. I heard what you said and I don't like it one bit. How do you know it's not some of this other stuff?" And he said, "Well, I'm the doctor and I just know. And you just have to do what I say." Well, I decided I didn't like him and I didn't like his diagnosis. So I gathered my scans and my labs and I drove to my VA clinic and I showed my regular doctor. And he looked at it and he said, "It does kind of look like kidney cancer." And I said, "Well, you know, our hospital's 2 hours away one way. Is there any place closer that you would recommend?" And he said, "Well, yeah, we do have a local cancer center and it's very good." So he made me an appointment, and a couple days later, I'm at my new oncologist, and they ran more scans and more tests, and he said, "Yes, you do have kidney cancer, and it's big, and it's pushing up into your heart and lungs." And so I thought, what a pushy. So we named him Wallowitz, after this favorite pushy character on one of my favorite TV shows, and it was decided that he had to be removed. Now, I know that when some people hear that they have cancer, they're devastated. But when he told me I had cancer, it didn't bother me at all. I mean, I know cancer survivors. You see them on the TV all the time. They're running races. They're doing just fine. But then I learned that not all cancer is the same. And cancer comes in stages. And not all cancer patients become cancer-free because of treatments. So we decided to go ahead and do the surgery. And what should have taken 1 day and about 5-day hospital stay turned into a 2-day surgery. And I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And after the second week, I was begging to go home. And I told them if they didn't let me go home, I was going to repaint the place and hang new wallpaper. Now, when they told me that I had the cancer, and they told me, and they explained to me about how it was in my lungs, I didn't understand that. And they explained that because it was kidney cancer, I now had kidney cancer in my lungs. And I thought, who ever heard of that? It made no sense to me. But because I do have kidney cancer in my lungs, I have stage 4 cancer. Now, I wasn't upset when I was told that I had cancer, but when my HR department was notified, they were told I was terminal. Now, when I heard the word terminal, then I became terrified. I thought that that meant that I would drop dead within a month or so. And I worried. I have a husband that's disabled and who's housebound. And I worried, well, who's going to take care of him when I'm gone? How's he going to buy groceries? How's he going to pay the bills? And I have a daughter, and she's in the medical field, and I thought, what is my end of life going to be like? Am I going to become a burden to her? I have a son in college. Is he going to get so depressed when I drop dead that he may not finish? I have a friend online who told me that worrying is like a rocking chair. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. But still, it was hard. One of the things I think cancer patients do when they first hear they have cancer is they immediately research everything they can find out about it. I know I did. Immediately started reading every book I could find, started scouring the internet, but I learned real quickly that a lot of books have absolutely no basis on science, and you can't believe everything you read on the internet. But most cancer patients feel they want to do something. They want to do something more. I know that I did. I mean, we're doing what our doctor's telling us, but we want to do something personal, something to help ourselves. A lot of people will start taking vitamins. They'll take supplements. They'll go on different diets. I know for me, I eat Lucky Charms cereal. They're magically delicious, and I figure I need all the magic that I can get. The treatment that I am on is similar to a lot of patients that have kidney cancer. I take an oral chemo. And oral chemo has a lot of the same side effects as other chemos. I know when mine gets really, really bad, I'm about bedridden. And so it can be very difficult to deal with. And so one of the things that I do is something that's called guided imagery. And that's sort of where you talk to yourself in your body. And a lot of people may laugh at this and think it sounds really funny, but I figure it doesn't hurt, it doesn't cost anything, so that's what I do. And because I was a medic, my guided imagery is set in a combat zone. When I go to bed at night, I close my eyes, and I picture a deep jungle. And I think to myself, Wally was in that jungle hiding, was hiding in my kidney, and he was waiting to kill me. But my medical team came in, and they got rid of him. But before they did, he sent 5 metastases to my lungs. And my own troops can't kill them, my own immune-fighting cells. So my doctor gives me the oral chemo. But sometimes I get so tired, and they just have to give you a break. And during that break, I kind of give my cells a pep talk. I tell them, we can do this. The oral chemo's coming. And pretty soon we'll be back in the battle again. Now I get scans, that's what I consider my intel, every 3 months. And it tells us how the chemo is, how the cancer is doing and whether we have it under control. And so to me, my cancer fight is a battle, a very real battle. And it doesn't just affect me. It affects the people that I love, the people that I care about. I'm on the Smart Patient webpage, and I have online friends. And we all talk about, and we revel in our victories, and we cry in the bad times. And these things affects them. They don't even know, but I can tell that they care. And I care about them. So it affects so many people. It affects my coworkers. I mean, I'm still trying to work. One of the things I remember in school was they talked about there's the 100-year war. And so I realized that not all battles are won in a day. Some battles can last a very long time. And my battle may not last 100 years, but I'm going to fight it for as long as I can.